everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is Christmas in July and I've got 5 super easy, budget-friendly Christmas DIYs to share with you for your inspiration. I'm also collaborating with a couple other ladies that are really talented. I'll leave the link for them in the description below and I'll talk about them here in a little bit. So if you want how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. And be sure and give me a like because it really does help my channel. Thank you. Okay, for this first one, I'm going to take one of the wire baskets from Dollar Tree and I'm just going to start curling it up. Now, we're making a little hat for this. This is going to be like a top hat. We're going to decorate it up, but just keep pushing it around there, push it in and pull it up at the same time, and this will curl up real easily. I know I told my husband I was going to do this and he said, there's no way, you'll probably have to cut it, but you don't. You just roll it right up and it rolls right up. And you're going to make a little cuff on it. So I'm just going to spray paint it with some Rust-Oleum satin black paint and just kind of do a little bit sweeping motions. You don't want to get it overly saturated where it drips. Just go ahead and kind of lightly spray it and then make sure that you get the inside of it sprayed as well. Okay, now that that's dry, it's time to decorate it. And I'm just going to take some ribbon, and this is a wired ribbon. I'm just going to go all the way around and I'm just going to glue it off in the back. And then I'm going to come back in with a bow and put it on the front part. And you don't want to use a lot of glue because you don't want it seeping through, but go ahead and fold over your edge so you have a nice finished edge when you get done. And then just spot glue in certain places so that you don't have a bunch of oozing all the way around. And you could just glue it right there and not even spot glue it to the hat, but I did end up spot gluing mine. Okay, next I'm going to make just a simple bow to go in the front. I'm just kind of folding it over, folding it backwards, and then fold it the opposite side. Go ahead and cut your little tab inside here on both sides to match. And then we're just going to put a piece of wire in the middle just to hold it all together. Just kind of cinch it up there and then put a piece of wire in the center. Another piece of ribbon, we're just going to kind of make a loop in the front to cover up all that wire. And I'm just going to glue this right to the front, and I'm gluing it to the side that has the seam because I am going to cover that up with some pine cones. And you can get these small pine cones at Hobby Lobby, and I don't know if you can get them right now, but at Christmas time they always have them. Okay, then to cover up the bottom seam, I'm going to go ahead and put 3 more down at the bottom. So I decided to use these little greenery sprigs. I'll give you the link for those in the description below. I got those on Amazon, and I'm just going to attach these right on each side of the bow on both sides. And you're going to have to trim them off a little bit because they do have a long stick on them, but I've already trimmed mine off. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down the bottom and just stick it in here. And I'm going to put 3 of these on each side. And there are so many ways that you could decorate these hats up. I just used from things that I had from my stash since there's not a lot of Christmas stuff out right now. So just kind of use what you have. Okay, next to finish it off, I'm just going to add a couple of these little berry sprigs on each side. Just kind of making this kind of a little simple craft. And sometimes, you know, doing a little bit less looks a little bit better. All right, that's how that turned out. I think that turned out super cute. Okay, I think that turned out so pretty. It's so simple and it's so inexpensive. Let me know in the comments which one's your favorite today. I had the pleasure of collaborating with my friend Linda and Emily. Linda is at Linda's DIY by Design and Emily is at Farm Charm Chic. I'll leave the links to both of their channels below. Hop on over to their channel. They've got a lot of holiday inspiration to share with you. They are super talented. I know you'll be impressed. Okay, for this next one, we're going to use 2 of the Dollar Tree bowls, and we're going to use 1 of the little dessert cups. And then we're going to go ahead and glue just around the edges at the tip of each one of these to glue these together because you don't want too much glue, and we're using E6000 glue to glue these. Now you don't have to use a Dollar Tree bowl. Just get any bowl that you can get two that match, and you can do the same thing. It doesn't have to be from the Dollar Tree. And then just go ahead and put this one on top. Just make sure you get them lined up well. And then go ahead and remove anything that's oozing out, any excess glue. And then we're going to go ahead and put the top part on. This is the dessert cup, and we're just going to glue it right to the top with E6000 glue as well. And then set all that aside and let that dry real well. Okay, after that's dried, I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to spray paint it with some red paint. You could spray paint it with any paint you want. You just want to get it covered because we're going to come back in and we're going to paint it with some regular chalk paint, and it'll stick a little bit easier if you do add some paint to it. And I'm just going to use some light sweeping motions to paint mine. I'm going to let it dry between times and come back and paint it again. You only need to probably paint it twice because we are going to paint it with some regular paint. Okay, after that's dried, I'm going to come back in with some Waverly Crimson red paint, and I'm going to paint it. Now, it looks like it's really bright red right here, but when it dries, it's more of a deeper red, and I'll show you after I dry it. But just go ahead and use a sponge just to kind of sponge it on and go all the way around. And you can use a heat source to dry it in between. Just kind of don't put it on real high because you don't want to melt your plastic. Okay, for the top part, the dessert cup, we're going to paint that with a black paint. And I'm using chalk paint on both of these. Next, to give this more of a vintage vibe, I'm just going to come back in with a chip brush, and I'm just going to take that same black paint, and I'm going to go ahead and do each one of these little areas. And then I added a little bit more in the middle as well, so you can kind of distress it up as much as you want. And if you don't like the vintage look, you can always just leave it red like it was, or even make it a brighter red. It just depends on what kind of decor you like during the holidays. Okay, next I'm going to take a wooden ring and I'm going to take it out to a sander and I'm going to sand it flat. Now that it's flat, I'm going to just go ahead and add some E6000 glue to it to attach it to the top. Now that's dry, I'm just going to take some black chalk paint and I'm just going to go ahead and paint my little loop. Then to distress a little bit, I'm taking some metallic silver paint and a chip brush, and I'm just lightly going over it. And I'm going to do the handle as well. That way it'll blend with the red where we distress the red. And to dress it up, I've got these little greenery sprigs, and I'm just going to take 3 of them and put 3 on each side. I'm going to kind of wire them together right in the center, and then I'm going to glue them to the front. Just kind of wrap the wire around it a little bit just to kind of hold them together. And then do the same thing with the other ones, and we're going to join them together in the center. And I'm just going to attach these with some hot glue. So put a pretty good dollop of hot glue on there. And if you want to, you can use E6000 glue, but I'm just going to use some hot glue to join them. Okay, now that that's dry, I'm going to go ahead and take a ribbon, and I'm just going to tie a regular bow. And then I'm just going to glue that right to the front. And I got these little bells at Hobby Lobby last year. They're just like a rusty little bell. I'm just going to take 3 of them. I'm going to put them on some jute string, and I'm going to tie it right around the top part. And then I'm going to kind of trim it out with some more greenery and some more pine cones. And I'm just tying that off so it's long enough so that those bells overlap the front part of my bow. And then I'm going to cover all that string up here in a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and glue my bells to the front part of the bow. And then to cover up those strings, I'm just going to add 2 more pieces of greenery right at the top to cover those up. And then I'm going to cover up the top part of it with another big pine cone. You could dress these up so many different ways, and you could use different shapes of bowls or different bowls that had different patterns on it. This is just a real quick and easy way to make a pretty ornament. To finish it off, I just grabbed a little wooden tag, and I'm going to take the Waverly wax, antique wax, and I'm just going to go ahead and brush it all over my my tag. Now I'm going to use a little bit of water to kind of soften it up a little bit, and I'm just using a paper towel to do this. And I'm going to do the front and the back of this tag as well. And I'm just going to stamp it with a Merry Christmas stamp that I have. And you aren't able to see it real clear. I mean, it is faint, but it does make it look more vintage. And then I'm just going to attach it with some of that same color jute. Yeah, that was a pretty simple project, and that turned out so pretty. I really love the way this turned out. I like the vintage look. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And you could use any kind of bowl to make this. For this next one, I'm going to take these picket fence posts. You get these at Lowe's and Home Depot. They're about $2.08 a piece. And I'm going to go ahead and sand the front, the back, and the sides. Now, you could use any kind of sander you want to. I just have this little sander here. It's real effortless. All you have to do is just kind of push it through. It's not hard on your hands. And go ahead and get it completely sanded on the front, the back, and the sides. And I'm going to do 4 of these. Next, I'm going to take a soft cotton rag, and I'm going to stain these with the Minwax Dark Walnut Stain. Now, this went on pretty dark at first, but as it dries into these cedar posts, it really does give it a nice rustic color. And I'm just going to use a rag to do this, and I'm going to saturate them pretty good. Now, I am going to cut my posts down a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and sand all of them just like this so that I can use the leftover for another project. And I only did 1 coat on these, but you want to do the front, the back, and the sides. Okay, next I'm going to trim mine down. I'm going to measure mine at 51 inches. I have low ceilings in my house. If you have tall ceilings, you could use these at 6 foot, but they looked a little bit big on my fireplace. And I'm just going to go and cut all of them the same length. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and round out the bottom of them. I'm just going to do the sides, just rounding out the sides a little bit. Now, I had sanded mine in the front toe area of these a little bit earlier, but I changed it up, and I'm going to make more of a V shape to them. So just kind of go around the edges on the bottom of them just to kind of trim them out a little bit. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do to the front. I'm going to come down and make a major point on these. And you could draw this out ahead of time if you want to. I'm just going to kind of go around until I get it to a point. And then just kind of curve the edges of it as you're pointing it upward so you don't have just like a straight point. Kind of curve your edges around there as well. And I'm kind of switching back and forth from side to side because I want to make sure that I do get them even. And then this is how mine ended up looking. For my ski poles, I'm going to take some 5/16 inch dowel sticks, and I'm going to trim them down to 34 inches in length. And then I'm just going to cut those off with my saw. Okay, next I'm going to take some 2-inch discs, and I'm going to glue 3 of them together to make them a little bit thicker. And I'll give you the link for these. You get quite a few of them on Amazon, and they're really good for a lot of craft projects. But I'm just using wood glue to attach them. And I'm using 3 so that they were a little bit thicker. And then just let those dry real good. Then we're going to drill a hole in them. And I'm just kind of eyeballing the center of this, just kind of make a point on it. And then we're going to drill this with a smaller drill bit just to make a pilot hole. And then we're going to go ahead and drill through it with a drill bit that's 5/16 also. That way your rod will be firm on these. It'll be real snug. But you want to start off with a little pilot hole first because you don't want to crack your little discs. And go ahead and drill through it with the 5/16 inch drill bit. Go ahead and thread them on your dowel stick, and you're going to come up about 2 inches from the bottom, and then we are going to put a little bit of wood glue on them just to hold them in place. Really, you don't even have to do this because they were pretty snug right here. Just put a little bit around them and then just roll them back down. And then clean the excess glue off. And go ahead and stain them the same color. I'm just using the same dark walnut stain. Next, I'm coming down 25.5 inches. This is going to be the center. And I got 2 of my skis together right there. And I'm going to drill a hole down through the top one into the bottom one, but I'm not going to go all the way through the back. And I'm just doing a little pilot hole so I can screw these two together. And just make sure that you do get them in the center on this first one. And then go ahead and figure out exactly where you want them open. And then go ahead and flip them over, and we're going to screw a screw into the back side, and that way they will stay open. They will not move. And you can just put it kind of somewhere near the other one, but do a pilot hole in that one as well, and then go ahead and screw your screw in. This will just keep it open and it won't move. Next, I'm going to take a little greenery sprig I got at Hobby Lobby last year, and I'm going to attach it to the center with my 2 ski poles. So go ahead and cross your poles so that they can go behind that. Put your greenery on top of that, and then just wire all this to your skis. And I'm just using a real thin floral wire. Just kind of hide it underneath your pine cones or whatever you have there that you can put it behind. And I'm putting it right into the center. Just make sure that you do get your poles opened up. Okay, next I'm just going to add a ribbon right in the center. And this is a wired ribbon. I'm just going to take it and kind of fold it like that. And then make a loop on the opposite side the same way. And then come out the back with another tail. And then I'm just going to wire all that right down into the center and attach this to the center. Go ahead and put your tails together and then go ahead and make your V shape right in the center so that they're even. And then just go ahead and create your ribbon. This is an easy way to make a ribbon. Just make 2 loops with the tail hanging out and then cross the loops over in the back. And then just pull them together in the center and wire them together. And pull enough wire out so you can go around your skis as well. Okay, and then go ahead and take another one to make a loop with it. You're just going to kind of fold it in so it's not so bulky in the middle. Wrap it around and then go ahead and tie your wire around it. Fold the sides back, tuck them in, and then wrap your wire around it to hold it in place. And then just go ahead and wrap the entire thing around your skis and you're pretty much done. This was a pretty quick and easy project. All right, look how pretty that is. Okay, these were pretty simple to put together. Let me know what you think in the comments. I made 2 of them. I made 1 to go on each side of my fireplace. Let me know which one of these is your favorite today. For this next one, I'm just using a paper mache cone I got at Hobby Lobby. And I think this measures about 18 inches in height. And I'm taking some ruffled ribbon that I got at Hobby Lobby as well. And I'm just going to wrap this around. This is a quick and easy project. Just cut it into strips and then you're going to finish out the end of it before you wrap it around. So you're just going to fold over the edge about 1/4 of an inch and then just glue it together. That way you'll have a nice finished seam when you wrap it around it. And that'll be the side that ends up on top. So I'm just going to start at the bottom and I'm just going to start gluing it in. And then as you're adding your layers, you're just going to overlap and you're going to go all the way to the top. This is a quick one, and if you did the gingerbread man and lady, this looks really cute with them as well. But you're overlapping the top part edge probably about 1/2 of an inch. And then you just keep overlapping all the way till you get to the very top. Okay, then to finish out the top, I'm just going to take a ribbon and I'm just going to tie a bow right at the top. Okay, then I'm just going to take a little gingerbread man that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to attach it right to the top. Yeah, I really like this one. If you don't have the ruffle, you could just gather up some regular ribbon. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, for this next one, we're going to take an 18-inch wood round. We're going to take a turntable and a plaque, and we're going to make a lazy Susan. We're just going to go straight across here to find our center point so we can go ahead and attach our little turntable piece to it. Okay, and I got my 18-inch piece of wood at Lowe's, and then I got my plaque at Michael's, and then I got the turntables on Amazon, and I'll give you the link for those. But just try to find a center point. You could even eyeball this if you want to. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and take our turntable piece, and we're going to turn it at a diagonal from each other like a star, and go ahead and mark all 4 holes on the bottom one and all 4 holes on the top one. Now the top one is going to attach to the Lazy Susan, and we are going to drill through with a large drill bit some access points so we can actually get to those to screw it to the Lazy Susan here in a little bit, and I'll show you that. And we're going to do the same thing on here. We're just going to go ahead and mark our 4 holes on the top part so that we can drill our points through. And these are going to be where we're going to drill our access points to. Just make sure you get everything lined up good. And then I'm just going to take a large drill bit. You want a drill bit big enough that you can run your screwdriver through. So make sure that you do drill it big enough. And I'm just going to drill through all 4 of those holes right there that match up with the one for the Lazy Susan. Now that we got our holes drilled, we're going to go ahead and screw our screws in where we actually drew our little mark with our pencil earlier. And this is on the bottom one, and then make sure that the other one still lines up with the holes on the top one. Just spend a little bit of time on this part because you want to make sure that you do get it straight. Okay, next go ahead and mark your holes with a marker so that you can go ahead and do a pilot hole through these. And then we'll be able to see where our screw is. You'll be able to feel it a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier. Just a small pilot hole to start those screws going in. And then we're going to take our screwdriver and we're going to run it through those large holes that we drilled through our board. It just makes it a little bit easier because you can feel where you put that pilot hole because you can't really see down in those holes, so it does make it a little bit easier. Okay, and then I had to come in with a smaller screwdriver to kind of get in there and just kind of cinch those down real well. And then just do that on all 4 of them. Next, I'm just going to take a real bright red acrylic paint and I'm just going to paint my entire board. Now, I ended up doing maybe 2 coats on this. Next, I'm going to take a North Pole stencil I got on Amazon and I'm just going to tape it down to my board with some painter's tape. This just holds it in place really good so that you can stencil it. Okay, now I'm just going to use some white chalk paint and a white round sponge brush, and I'm just going to dab it. And just kind of dab it right on top. Don't try to move it left to right or anything like that. Just start dabbing it on top till you get it as thick as you want. And just go a little bit thin at first. Don't pile up your paint a lot. Just go lightly, and then you can go back and touch it up. If you do too much, it'll end up oozing out underneath the stencil. This way you don't get any oozing. And if you have another way of doing it, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. And then I always take my tape off while it's still wet. And then I'm coming back in with a chip brush and some chalk paint, and I'm just going to kind of distress it. I'm going to go around the edges a little bit, and then I'm going to go through the center a little bit. And these Lazy Susans for Christmas are great for, you can put a hot chocolate bar on there. You could put a s'mores bar on there. These are just real pretty during the holidays. If you do any kind of entertaining, these are real pretty to put even just a clear tray of cookies on it or anything like that. And then if after Christmas you want to use it for something else, just repaint it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I like the way this one turned out. You could use this for a hot chocolate bar. You could use it for a s'mores bar. You could just put a plate of cookies on it. Just so versatile during the holidays. Let me know which one of these is your favorite today. Just a recap of some of the things that I made in this video today. I hope this gave you some holiday inspiration. It's never too early to start for Christmas because you know it gets crazy during the holidays. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hop over to Linda and Emily's site for some more holiday inspiration. They've got a lot of good ideas. I've already seen a sneak peek at what they got, so be sure and check them out. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome.